Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor, and in the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you all the big stories from India and across the world. Let us start with the headlines. 29 dead as Delhi-bound double-decker bus falls into drain on Yamuna Expressway. Several injured. Rescue operations underway. Political crisis continues in Karnataka as the 13 rebel MLAs refuse to withdraw resignations amid efforts by Chief Minister Kumaraswamy, Congress leaders to save coalition government. BJP says it will decide its action after Speaker's decision on Tuesday. Lok Sabha to start discussion on Union Budget 2019. Several bills, including the Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill 2019 and the National Investigation Agency Amendment Bill 2019, listed today for introduction. Rajya Sabha to debate Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2019 and the Dentists Amendment Bill 2019 for passing. Lok Sabha passed both bills last week. And in cricket, Virat Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah retained top honours in batting and bowling in ICC ODI rankings. India to play New Zealand on Tuesday after topping league stage in the ICC World Cup. The big story this morning is from Uttar Pradesh, where 29 people have been killed and several others were injured in a road accident on Yamuna Expressway in Agra district this morning. The mishap occurred when a bus skidded off the 6-lane Yamuna Expressway near Delhi and fell into a large drain 50 feet below. The 165-kilometer-long expressway connects Noida with Agra in Uttar Pradesh. The bus carrying 46 people was going from Lucknow to Delhi when the accident happened. And according to reports, the driver fell asleep just before he lost control of the heavy vehicle on the expressway near Agra. Relief and rescue operations are underway. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has expressed grief over the incident. He has also directed District Magistrate and SSP to provide all possible medical attention to the injured.
जो गाड़ी अवध एक्सप्रेस अवध डिपो का गाड़ी है वो लखनऊ से निकल करके आनंद विहार दिल्ली में जा रहे थे। उस समय करीब 4:30 बजे सुबह ड्राइवर को मुझे लगता है नींद आ गया होगा और गाड़ी स्पीड में भी रहा है। इस वजह से वो जो हमारा बैरियर है उसको तोड़ करके नीचे गिर चुका है और वो जर्रा नाले में गिरा है। उस वजह से टोटल 29 डेथ अभी तक हमारे संज्ञान में आए हुए हैं। हम लोग अभी भी सर्च में है कि क्योंकि नाले में पानी की वजह से कोई अंदर कोई और तो बॉडी नहीं है।
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has expressed grief over the loss of lives. And on to news from Karnataka now, where political crisis has further deepened after 13 rebel Congress and JDS MLAs refused to withdraw their resignations. In a last-ditch effort to save the coalition government, leaders of both the Congress and the JDS made efforts to reach out to the rebel MLAs on Sunday. The rebels, however, ruled out withdrawing their resignations. Rebel Congress MLA Soma Shankar said that there is no question of going back on their decision.
We are 10 MLAs here. Okay. Totally 13 MLAs. Resignation letter to Speaker and informed to Governor. 13 MLAs. All 13 MLAs are together. No question of going back to Bangalore and withdraw the resignation. We are all 13 MLAs together.
Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy cut short his US visit and returned to Bengaluru on Sunday to hold emergency meeting with the JDS MLAs. Kumaraswamy has also called an emergency cabinet meeting today. Congress Legislature Party leader Siddaramaiah has convened a CLP meeting on Tuesday. In a letter sent to all the party MLAs, he said that stern action will be taken against those MLAs who do not attend the Legislature Party meeting. Congress's D.K. Shivakumar met JDS Chief H.D. Devagowda at his residence on Sunday as well.
See, they have called a meeting of their party leaders, and we will also have called a party leaders. We will sort it out, this issue. I have confidence that things will cool down immediately.
So government will run smoothly, sir? We
have to, in the interest of the nation and in the interest of both the parties, we have to do that, we will do that.
And on the other hand, the BJP has maintained that it has no role to play in the current crisis. The party has said that it is the power struggle between Congress's Siddaramaiah and Kumaraswamy which has resulted in a political crisis in the state.
This is a basically unholy alliance, and they are trying to, Mr. Siddaramaiah is behind it, and Congress party as a whole, they are trying to throw out Mr. Kumaraswamy by doing all this drama. So we are watching it at this point of time. I don't want to say anything much, but this is the game plan of Congress party to oust the Devagowda and family. Devagowda and family should understand this reality.
In all, 13 MLAs have submitted their resignations in the last 1 week. Among the 13 rebel legislators who have resigned recently, 10 are from the Congress party and 3 are from the JDS. Assembly Speaker K.R. Ramesh is scheduled to take up the resignations on Tuesday. And the dissident MLAs are currently staying in resorts in Mumbai. And after this dramatic turn of events, the state government appeared to have fallen into a minority. The strength of the ruling coalition in Karnataka has now come down to 105, which is 8 short of the halfway mark of 113 for a majority. All right, our colleague Panchanan Mishra is tracking all those developments in Karnataka very, very closely. A very good morning, Panchanan. So, H.D. Kumaraswamy is back and Karnataka ruling coalition held a meeting yesterday. They insist that there is no threat to the coalition government. But if those resignations of all the 13 lawmakers is accepted, of course, the government of the Congress and JDS, which all has a wafer-thin majority, would automatically collapse. What are the updates?
Exactly, Aishwarya. There is again political instability in Karnataka, and after the last year's election, assembly election, it was being said that the government is not looking stable because there was many voices from inside the party itself, from Congress and JDS. As you know that BJP was the single largest party after the assembly election in 224 member house, but the Congress and JDS came together and formed the government. But again, this current scenario, which is saying that now 13 MLA, both from Congress and JDS, now they have decided to quit the party. And now it is up to Speaker what he decides regarding the membership. But simultaneously, when Kumaraswamy, Chief Minister, he came back from USA, and now he is taking a meeting with Congress leaders also, and its party leaders. So they are a last attempt to save the government. And it has to be seen that what further course of action will be there by these 13 MLA, because they are looking adamant, they are not keen to take back their resignations. And if the case is so, then there may be 2 cases. Then the BJP may form the government also because the required number will be much lower. BJP has 105 members in this house. So our eyes will be on the Speaker, and also for tomorrow's meeting, 9th of July, when the Congress has issued a circular to report all the Congress MLAs. But if the Congress MLA didn't turn up, then situation may be different. So we have to keep wait and watch, and it may be a further gain to BJP there.
Absolutely, we have to wait and watch when the Speaker takes up those resignations, and the Congress, in fact, holds that meeting that is scheduled for tomorrow. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those updates there. And now news on budget session of Parliament. Lok Sabha will take up general discussion on the Union Budget for 2019-20 today. Modi government's first budget of the second term was presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday. After the Finance Minister presents the Union Budget, Parliament holds a general discussion, followed by a detailed discussion and a vote on demands for grants. In the general discussion, the House discusses the budget as a whole, but no motions can be moved and no voting takes place. The voting on demands for grants is likely between 11th and 17th of July. Now let's take a look at the several bills that are listed for introduction in Lok Sabha today. Union Minister Harshvardhan will present the DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill 2019 for introduction. The bill seeks to establish a national DNA data bank, regional DNA data banks, and a DNA regulatory board to regulate the use of DNA technology for establishing the identity of persons. Home Minister Amit Shah will move the Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment Bill 2019, which aims to amend the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Amit Shah will also move for introduction the Protection of Human Rights Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. And the National Investigation Agency Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the National Investigation Agency Act 2008 will also be introduced by the Home Minister. And Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan will introduce the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 in the Lok Sabha today. The bill seeks to establish consumer redressal commissions for the timely and effective administration and settlement of consumers' disputes. And the bill also seeks to set up a consumer protection councils at all districts, state and national levels to render advice on consumer protection. And Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri will move to introduce the Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Act of 1971. The Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Act 1951 will be moved by Union Minister Prahlad Singh Patel. And the Central Universities Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Central Universities Act 2009 will be introduced by Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. All right, Kriti Mishra, our colleague, is now joining us live from Vijay Chowk. Very good morning, Kriti. So, Lok Sabha will take up the general discussion on Union Budget for 2019-20 today. And apart from that, of course, several key bills are also listed for the introduction in the lower house. So, how is the day likely to pan out in the lower house today?
Well, Aishwarya, after the Finance Minister presents the Union Budget, it is followed by discussion in Parliament, which is general discussion, and then also detailed discussion and also votes on demands for grants. So when there's general discussion on the budget, there's no voting and there's no motion. So of course the government has laid out a 10-point vision to make India a $5 trillion economy. It talks about focus on agriculture, it talks about investing more than 100 lakh crore in the infrastructure sector, and also talks about truncating the fiscal deficit to 3.3%, talks about recapitalizing the banks and also giving a breather to the NBFC. So there are several important issues that were raised in the budget, and members across the political spectrum will express their viewpoint on the discussion on Union Budget today. So important day in the Lok Sabha, and there are several important bills that are lined up for introduction. For instance, the NIA Amendment Bill, the Consumer Protection Amendment Bill, the DNA Bill, and also Prevention of Unlawful Activities. So several bills to be introduced in the lower house. Aishwarya?
Right, Kriti, stay with us. So we'll just come back to you. We also need to discuss about Rajya Sabha because two bills are listed for consideration and passing in the upper house today. Union Minister Harshvardhan will move the Dentists Amendment Bill 2019. And this bill amends the Dentists Act 1948 and was passed by the lower house by a voice vote last week. And the amendment will also help restructure the dental councils. And the Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill 2019 is also listed for consideration and passing in the upper house today. The bill, also passed by Lok Sabha last week, seeks to allow voluntary use of Aadhaar as a proof of identity for opening bank accounts and procuring mobile phone connections. It provides for a stiff 1 crore rupees penalty and jail term for the violation of norms set for the use of Aadhaar and violation of privacy. It also gives the children the option of exiting from the biometric ID program on attaining 18 years of age. Let's go back to Kriti Mishra, our colleague who's joining us from Vijay Chowk. Kriti, as far as upper house is concerned, of course, 2 key bills are listed for consideration and passing. We have seen that good discussion has been taking place on both these bills. We can expect their passage in the Rajya Sabha today.
That's right, Aishwarya. So the Aadhaar and Other Laws Amendment Bill seeks to further fortify the entire Aadhaar ecosystem by amending the Aadhaar Act, the Telegraph Act, and also the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Remember, the government has been underscoring the importance of Aadhaar, saying around 125 crore people are now connected with Aadhaar, and also more than 2.5 crore Aadhaar authentications take place every day, and around 70 crore people are connected on Aadhaar through mobile connections. So the government has been saying that it has saved a substantial amount of money, around 1.1 lakh crore, by plugging leakages in the entire system using Aadhaar. And it has also said that it has put in place all the robust mechanism to ensure that privacy of citizens is also upheld, and also which is in line with the verdict of the Supreme Court. So very important bill in the Rajya Sabha. Also the Dentist Amendment Bill will be taken up today in the upper house. Aishwarya?
Right, Kriti, thank you so much for all those updates there on Parliament. Thank you. And today is the last day for the nomination of a Rajya Sabha election for 6 seats from Tamil Nadu. Terms of 6 Rajya Sabha members are ending later this month. Outgoing members include DMK leader Kanimori, D. Raja of CPI, and R. Lakshmanan, K.R. Arjunan, V. Maithreyan, and T. Reti Navil of the AIADMK. Voting, if necessary, will take place on 18th of July. On to some other news, Congress leaders Jyotiraditya Scindia and Milind Deora have resigned from their party posts, accepting the people's verdict in Lok Sabha elections. Jyotiraditya Scindia has resigned as the General Secretary of All India Congress Committee. In a tweet, he said that he has resigned, accepting the people's verdict and taking accountability of Lok Sabha poll results. And Mumbai Congress President Milind Deora also announced his resignation from the post and said that he is looking forward to playing a role at the national level to help stabilize the Congress party. On a 3-day visit to India, UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan will hold talks with his Indian counterpart S. Jaishankar today. Both leaders will discuss trade and energy ties to boost cooperation. The UAE minister will also call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and participate in a business roundtable as well. And a week ahead of its launch, ISRO released new images of Chandrayaan-2. The mission to Moon is getting ready for liftoff on 15th of July from Sriharikota using the country's most powerful rocket GSLV Mark III. Its lander and rover called Vikram and Pragyan are likely to touch down on the Moon's surface on 6th of September. The 27-kilogram 6-wheeled rover will explore the south pole of the Moon. Now, this is a robotic mission and will carry no human beings to the Moon's surface. On to some other news, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Sunday released a 10 Indian languages translate version of a book called Viveka Deepini, which is a collection of shlokas from Prashnota Ratna Malika. And addressing the gathering after releasing the book, the Vice President said that Indians have been fortunate that spiritual leaders like Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekanand have shaped our country's ethical foundations. He appreciated the efforts of the publishers for translating it into 10 Indian languages and said that there was a great need to undertake more such efforts to spread the knowledge of ancient India.
spread that knowledge. We have to take it out and then pass on this knowledge to our children, to the new generation, so that they can lead a happy life. We have a vast treasure in our country. It is a treasure whose positive impact has been left around the globe. It is a treasure that constantly inspires us to be at global level the voice of peace, of ethical conduct and sustainable development. It is the path of dharma, the path that sustains us and makes us follow a path that is good not only for ourselves but for the whole humanity and the entire planet. We must rediscover this ancient knowledge, which sometimes tends to become unseen and unheard and therefore not fully understood. If we don't know about this treasure, we lose a vital link with the past. We lose ability to enrich our present. We need to build the link to the noble thought process, adopt it to our contemporary life context. Adi Shankaraji's works are among the finest literary works in world literature, apart from their extraordinary depth in terms of spiritual insights. They enlighten us and enthrall us. They and other noble thoughts of Indian seers, Swamijis, sadhus, strengthen the ethical pillars of our society. But this can happen only through awareness, study, and what more important, internalization and behavioral change. The verses in this book contain universal truth. They are the starting points of reflection. For example, verse 16, the question is, who is your friend? The reply is, one who does not allow you to commit sin is your best friend.
And now an update on the movement of monsoon in our country. Well, monsoon has covered almost the entire country, but 3/4 of the Met Department's sub-meteorological divisions still fall under the deficient rainfall category. The Indian Met Department's data shows. Now, IMD said that the overall monsoon deficiency, which was 33% at the start of this month, has now dipped to 21%. No subdivision in the country recorded large deficiency, though. According to the Central Water Commission, of the 91 major reservoirs in the country, 62 water bodies reported 80% or below of normal storage. The IMD has 4 divisions which are further divided into 36 subdivisions. 24 have received deficient rainfall. The data also indicates that central India has received fairly good rainfall over the last week. The top international focus, US President Donald Trump has warned Iran to better be careful after Tehran on Saturday said that it was boosting uranium enrichment beyond the limits set in the 2015 nuclear deal. Donald Trump made the comment hours after US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo tweeted that Iran's decision will lead to further isolation and sanctions. Pompeo wrote, nations should restore the long-standing standard of no enrichment for Iran's nuclear program. Iran's regime with nuclear weapons would pose an even greater danger to the world. Britain also urged Iran to immediately stop and reverse all actions that are inconsistent with the nuclear agreement, under which it accepted restrictions on its nuclear program in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. And France also said that Iran's move was a violation of the international pact. Cricket news now, and Team India skipper Virat Kohli has retained the top position among the batsmen in the latest ICC rankings. Vice captain Rohit Sharma closed in on Kohli at the top of the batting chart on back of his astonishing run in the World Cup. And Jasprit Bumrah also retained the top spot in bowling after grabbing 17 wickets in 9 league matches at the World Cup. In the ICC ODI team rankings, England remains in the first position with 123 points, but only ahead of India on decimal points. And cricket team of our country arrived in Manchester ahead of their semi-final against New Zealand on Tuesday. Remember, India beat Sri Lanka in their last league match on Saturday to emerge at the top of the table of the ongoing World Cup. And hosts England will take on Australia on Thursday in the second semi-final on Thursday. And in more sports news, star Indian sprinter Hima Das won her second international gold in women's 200 meters with a top finish at the Kutno Athletics meet in Poland on Sunday. Hima clocked 23.97 seconds to clinch the gold, while VK Vismaya bagged the silver medal in 24.06 seconds. Now, this was Hima's second competitive 200-meter race of the year. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.